She hit the ground hard.
Forgive me, please forgive
Dust
your
rose
mother.
around her knees as she collapsed in front of the entire village square, her hands clutching Ada's wrapper like her life depended on it. "Ada, forgive me," her mother cried, voice cracking, forehead almost touching the dirt. "Please forgive your mother." The wind moved through the dry Harmattan air, lifting the edges of Ada's braids. She did not bend. She did not cry. She stood still, her face unreadable, eyes hollow in a way that made the villagers uncomfortable. "Now you remember I am your daughter," Ada asked quietly. The crowd shifted. Some women covered their mouths, some men looked away. Her mother's shoulders shook violently. "I did not know. I did not know." Ada's lips parted slightly, but before she could answer, the screen of memory shattered. Everything rewound. Back to when she was
If
still
I
the
had
daughter
known,
they blamed.
I would have left that village long ago.
Her wrapper was tied tightly around her waist as she bent over the well, pulling up water with practiced arms. The rope burned against her palms. Inside the small mud hut, Amara slept peacefully, one leg sprawled over the thin mattress, her hair loose and glossy in the early light. Their mother stepped outside and didn't look at Amara first. She looked at Ada. "Ada, why are you moving slowly? Amara must eat before she wakes." "I am not slow, Mama," Ada replied softly, adjusting the bucket on her head. "The water is heavy." "Excuses? Must you complain about everything? That girl must not wake up hungry." Ada nodded. "Yes, Mama." She carried the water back, shoulders already aching. She had barely set the bucket down when a loud crash split the air. The clay pot shattered on the ground. Amara stood frozen beside it. For half a second, there was silence. Then their mother ran out in panic. "Amara, what happened? Did it hit you? Are you hurt?" Amara's lips trembled. Her eyes watered instantly. "It was Ada," she said, pointing without hesitation. She pushed it close to the edge. Ada blinked. "No, Mama, I just came back." The slap landed before she finished. "Wicked girl," her mother shouted. "Must you always destroy things in this house?" "I did not." Another hit, this time with the back of her hand. Amara stepped back, pretending to sob harder. "She does not like me," Amara whispered loudly enough. "She is always jealous." Jealous. The words sank deep. Their mother grabbed Ada by the arm and shook her violently. "You are the elder one. If anything happens to your sister, I will hold you responsible. Do you hear me?" Ada swallowed her explanation. "Yes, Mama. Go inside. Do not let me see your face." She watched as her mother wrapped her arms around Amara instead. "Come, my baby. Let me check you. You must be shaken. I will serve your food." Ada stood there, cheeks stinging, staring at the broken pot at her feet. After eating, Amara came back outside, freshly bathed and glowing. She glanced at the bucket of water Ada had fetched. "I want to bathe again," she announced casually. Ada looked up slowly. "That water is for cooking and washing clothes." Amara shrugged. "Then fetch another one." She lifted the bucket without waiting. "Amara," Ada began. Amara turned sharply. "What? Or do you want another pot incident? You know I'm too tired to carry heavy things." Ada said nothing. She simply watched her sister walk away with the water she had struggled to fetch. Later that afternoon, under the mango tree near the edge of the village, Amara walked with her two friends like she owned the ground, as was already waiting. He leaned against the tree, arms crossed, pretending indifference. When Amara approached, his face softened instantly. "You look beautiful," he said, voice low. Amara smiled. "I know." They both laughed. Her friends stepped back to give them space. Eza leaned closer. "I cannot keep meeting you like this." "Then stop," she teased. "I do not want to stop." His voice dropped. "I want us to leave." Amara's laughter faded. "Leave where?" "Anywhere but here." She studied him carefully. "You are serious?" "I am tired of being just another village boy." "And you think I am not tired," she replied. They all think I am just pretty. They do not see me. As I reach for her hand, if anything happens to you, I will burn this village. Amara laughed again. Nothing can happen to me. Everybody loves me. From a distance, Ada watched quietly while carrying firewood. She paused only for a moment. Not jealousy, just tired. That night, inside the dim hut lit by a single lantern, Amara sat beside Ada. Her voice was softer than usual. Ada, you go to the city every few days. Ada did not look up from the cloth she was folding. Yes. Take me with you. Ada finally turned. Why? I just want to see it. Me and my friends. We will not disturb you. She squeezed Ada's hands with both of hers. Please, you know Mama would never allow me to go without you. Mama's voice drifted in from outside where she sat with the neighbors. Ada, when you go tomorrow, make sure you buy salt and kerosene, and do not let those market people cheat you like last time. Yes, Mama. Amara tightened her grip on Ada's hands, her eyes wide and pleading in a way that bypassed every wall Ada had built. Please, Ada, just this once. Ada looked at her sister's face for a long moment. You must stay close, she said finally. You must not wander, and you must do exactly what I say when I say it. Amara's face broke open with a smile so genuine it almost hurt to look at. I promise. I swear, Ada, you will not even know we are there. The next morning, the group that gathered at the edge of the village path was larger than Ada had agreed to. More teenagers had attached themselves to the outing overnight. The way these things always happened, one person tells another, who tells another, until a simple trading trip becomes a procession. I need to buy sandals, said one boy. I want to visit my cousin near the market, said a girl Ada barely recognized. My mother sent me to check prices for cloth, said another. Ada stood at the front of the group and looked back at all of them. 12, 15 faces, young and bright and entirely unbothered by the 10 kilometers of road between them and the city. She felt something uneasy move through her chest, like a bird beating against a closed window. Stay together, she said firmly. All of you. Whatever happens on this road, nobody goes ahead and nobody falls behind. Do you hear me? Yes, Ada, they chorused, already half distracted, already laughing among themselves. She adjusted the load on her head and began walking. The ambush happened so fast that it had already begun before anyone's mind could properly register that it was happening. For the city, near the river bend where the road curved and the bushes grew dense on both sides, a section Ada had always moved through quickly without ever knowing exactly why her body always tensed there. The old pickup truck was waiting on the shoulder and Ada had barely registered it as unusual before the men were already out of it, already moving, already surrounding them. Masked faces, wide shoulders, hands that moved with practiced efficiency. Dust exploded into the air from all directions. Screaming erupted everywhere at once, a wall of sound. Run! Ada shouted, the word tearing out of her throat. She spun toward her sister.
Let me go! Hold on! Tina, stop me!
But a hand grabbed Ada from behind, brutal, enormous, closing around her arm and yanking backward with a force that lifted her feet briefly off the ground. She went down hard on the road, her knee scraping open against the gravel, pain exploding white and immediate. Through the chaos of running feet and screaming voices and choking dust, she saw Ease for one frozen moment, his eyes wide and shocked, and then calculating, something moving across his face that she did not have time to understand. Then she saw him being grabbed too, 2 men on either side of him, and she thought, good, at least the men are stopping them. But the men were not stopping anyone, they were collecting. The teenagers were being shoved toward the truck, not randomly, deliberately, systematically, like they were items being gathered from a shelf. Ada! Amara's voice cut through everything, high and terrified and real in a way Ada had never heard from her sister before. Not performed, genuinely, nakedly afraid. Their eyes met through the dust and the chaos. Amara's face was completely open, every mask stripped away, just a frightened girl reaching for her sister across an impossible distance. Then the truck door slammed shut. Someone hit Ada from behind. The blow landed at the base of her skull and the world tilted violently sideways. She tried to push up from the ground, tried to focus her eyes, tried to find the truck, find Amara. Darkness swallowed everything whole. When she woke up, the road was empty. Silence sat over the bush like a held breath. No truck, no footprints in any useful direction, no voices, just the indifferent afternoon sun and the sound of birds somewhere above her, as though nothing in the world had happened on this road. And blood trickling slow and warm down the side of her face, dripping off her jaw onto the red dust below her. She crawled. Her ribs screamed with every movement, and each time she put weight on her right hand, the pain sang up through her elbow and shoulder. She crawled anyway. She crawled because Amara was gone and she was not, and that fact was a weight so enormous she could not begin to carry it upright. The village gates blurred in her vision. Shapes resolved slowly into faces.
Voices bounced against her ears without fully landing. She is back. Ada is back. Come and see. Chineke, her face. What happened? Where are the others? Where are the children? Her mother came running, and for one wild, irrational second, Ada felt a surge of something like relief. Mama is here. Mama will help.
Where is my daughter? Where is Amara?
Her eyes swept Ada's face and body and found nothing that mattered to her. Where is Amara? What happened to Amara? They took them, Mama. Ada's voice came out broken and strange, not her voice at all. Men with masks. They took them all. They had a truck. You let them take her? Her mother's voice rose into something that was not quite a scream and not quite a howl, but was entirely its own category of sound. You were there and you let them take my daughter? Mama, I tried. They came from everywhere. They hit me, Mama, they hit. The slap landed. It knocked Ada sideways in her crouched position and she went down onto one hand, and the hand slipped in the dirt, and then she was fully on the ground again, cheek pressed into the red earth, the taste of blood mixing with dust in her mouth. Jealous, her mother screamed above her. Jealous from the day that child was born. You have always been jealous of her. You took them there. You planned this, you wicked, wicked child. Mama, no. Mama, please. The voices of the villagers gathered around her like walls closing in. Is it not true she was always bitter about her sister? I saw how she used to look at Amara. Cold eyes. Why is she the only one that came back? Why is she not hurt more if she really fought them? Something is not right here. Something is not right. Ada could not find any more words. They had all run out like water from a cracked pot. She could only lie there on the ground and listen as the village built its verdict quickly and cleanly, the way villages do, the way they had been building it her entire life. Her mother turned away. She turned her back on Ada and buried her face in the wrapper of the woman standing nearest to her and wailed a deep structural wail, the wail of a woman whose world had ended for Amara. Ada lay in the dirt and watched her mother's back. The evening light was golden and beautiful and completely indifferent, and just like that she became the daughter they blamed. They did not bring her water that night. She found her own way into the hut, cleaned her own wound with the tail of her wrapper, lay down on her mat in the dark, and listened to her mother cry in the next room for a daughter who was alive, and a daughter who was present but apparently worth nothing at all. In the village, by the next morning, the story had already solidified into a shape everyone was comfortable with. Ada, the bitter elder sister, had finally done what jealous children do. She had destroyed the thing that made everyone love the family. She had given Amara away. Nobody asked how she had gotten the wound on her head. Nobody asked why a girl who had supposedly planned an ambush had been left behind bleeding on the road. Nobody asked, and Ada learned completely and permanently not to expect anyone to. She lay on her mat in the dark and made no sound, but inside her chest, something that had been bending for years finally finished breaking. Slowly, without anyone's permission, something entirely new begins to grow. Ada's story is only beginning. The road that took Amara did not end at the truck, and the village that turned its back on Ada does not yet know what it created the night it chose the wrong daughter to abandon. What happens when a woman who was broken by the people who was supposed to protect her decides to stand up not for revenge but for truth? What happens when Amara comes back, if she comes back, and the story everyone agreed on begins to fall apart? Episode 2 drops next week. Follow this page right now so you do not miss a single moment. Share the story with someone who needs to read it, because somewhere out there is a real Ada, and she deserves to know that someone sees her. The daughter they blamed is not done yet.